Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of the GotchardCast. This is Otaku Sentai Podranger. This is your host B-Shuck.
And Ben She.
I still have not posted episode 2 at the time of recording this, but I will soon.
We'll get there when we get there.
And this one will follow shortly behind, and then maybe one day we'll have a consistent release schedule.
But for now, we're just enjoying Kamen Rider Gotchard for what it is.
Yeah.
Peak fiction.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I would say
it's
peak fiction. It has the potential for peak fiction, but it's growing. But anyway, today we'll be looking at episodes 7 and 8. And
nice little duo of episodes here.
Yeah, these two episodes form our first ever two-parter for Gotchard. I believe that Toei are viewers of the GotchardCast, and they decided to throw us a bone by having two episodes connected together so that we can more easily discuss it as a single unit. So with that, let's begin.
So, this episode 7, it basically is, think about this, if we're talking about how both episodes are, it's really all about, like, the cram school system and, like, the pressure that kids got to go through in that kind of system.
Yeah, that's certainly one element of it.
And I have a synopsis pulled up here on the Kamen Rider wiki. So, a boy, Riku, appears in front of Hodoro and the others, asking to take over his Kemi, Sabo Needle, which it's kind of like the wrestler dude and G-Wrestler, and how, like, what was going on with them.
Yep.
But it's like this kid is like, he finds Sabo Needle, just a random place somewhere, befriends him, and then, we'll get to the kicker here soon. But the point right now is that he's been friends with this Kemi for a while, and he wants the gang to take care of it, because he witnessed, because there's actually a slight time skip in this episode, from, at least compared to the last one, because it starts out with Hodoro and the others, like, fishing for Kemis, because he's got a new Kemi called a Smartphone, which is basically just an iPhone, but it's a Kemi.
He seems to have a lot of new Kemis that we haven't seen him collect, and it's like,
yeah,
if this show's pretty much just started, and he already has so many, and there's only 101. But
yeah, I'm wondering if, like, he'll collect all of them before the series is over, like a while before the series is over. You know what I mean?
I don't know. We'll have to see, because it seems like some of the Kemis, without getting too ahead of ourselves, it seems like some of the Kemis are off, like, in others' possessions.
Yeah.
So I feel like it would still take a while for him to get all 101.
Yeah, because we see a couple that we never saw him, like, get before in these two episodes, and especially in episode 8. But here, like, you actually see, like, the like, him catching Kemis without using any of his rider forms. Like, he straight up fishes out. It was a crab Kemi. I can't remember its name.
Mechanicani.
Yeah, Mechanicani. Yeah, the little because this smartphone can track Kemi's locations, and I bet that's going to be used as a device a lot.
Oh yeah, I mean, they literally made
forward.
it to look like a toy, so
Yeah.
you're going to be seeing that on the shelves.
Oh yeah. But yeah, like, this kid, Riku sees them with the Kemis, and he's like, all right, well, I'm going to go give Sabo Needle to these guys. And so kid's acting pretty cold to them, and Rine's just like, oh yeah, well, we'll take it off your hands. But then Hodoro's like, whoa, why don't you want to be friends with this Kemi? Yeah. And so, like, it's time for the writer's personality to clash with the rules,
Oh yeah, fuck the rules.
And he's just like, oh well, I'm friends with Kemis, and then Rine's just like, oh well, we got to stick with the rules. And then kid runs
Square.
out. Yeah, and Hodoro runs out because he's like, no, I'm not gonna let this kid just, like, throw his friend away to us. And he runs up and he finds him in a park, and he's just like, hey man, why don't you be friends with Sabo Needle? And he's like, oh, I gotta study. So like this kid's on his iPad or tablet, and he's just like it's like geometry, just like general cram. We find out he's in cram school, so he says he doesn't have any time for friends. And then Hodoro's just like, oh, well, that kind of sucks. And so he tries to be his friend for a bit, but a wild Malgam appears while they're hanging out, and we don't know who this Malgam is for now, but what we know is
he is dangerous.
Very
AF.
dangerous. Very dangerous. This dude comes out and starts just shooting needles from every direction.
Yeah, and Hotaro can't even see him. He's just getting rained fire on.
Yeah.
Probably extremely traumatizing.
Yeah, and like he goes through the motions a little bit, and like from I think it was the latest episode whenever they fought Bolt, and he got Hawkstar.
Oh yeah, episode 6.
He was like, all right, well, now it's time to use Hawkstar, but since he just gave us Sabo Needle, I'm going to use Sabo Needle to fight this dude. And so he uses Sabo Needle and Hawkstar to create Needle Hawk. Let me tell you, this is a really good suit design.
Oh yeah, I really love the design for this one. Just very ornate, and the green and gold color palette just really sticks out, and it's just wonderful.
And as like they're around, like as they're in this fight, he calls up the gang, and he talks to Sabimaru, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm getting like attacked, and there's a kid here, and I don't know what to do right now." And like Sabimaru is like, "Okay, well," and he's whispering into the phone. Hodoro can't hear him. He goes over. I'll just have Isaac talk, and Isaac, his tablet's dead, so Isaac's not going to be able to talk. And then he's fumbling around trying to find the words, trying to speak up, and he's basically about to have a panic attack. But then our good friend Spanner Kurogane walks in, talking about what a ridiculous joke.
Yep, our favorite edgelord. Favorite catchphrase.
He takes the phone out of his hands and he's like, "What's up, man?" And he's like, I don't know what I'm fighting right now." And so didn't he use small phone to like take a picture, or was it just like, did they just kind of use context clues to figure out what was fighting him?
Yeah, I forget, honestly. Maybe they had their own satellite system that could scope them out.
Well, they find out it was, let me check here. Here we go. Greatonbo.
Oh, yeah. That was the amalgam.
Yep. So, turns out, after a little bit of research, they find out that the new amalgam that has appeared was the Dragonfly amalgam from the Greatonbo card, which, as a dragonfly, he's able to fly around and shoot needles. And so now it's up to it's needle versus needle in this fight. We're talking Sabo Needle and Hawkstar coming in hot. They go to fight. They go up in the air, and tragedy strikes. Because Sabo Needle, he's feeling a lot of different emotions right now.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because Riku's scared. This guy, Sabo Needle, doesn't know Hodoro that well, and just getting thrust into a battle like this it's crazy. So he ejects himself from the fight, and Sabo Needle just jumps out of the Gotchard belt, and Hodoro falls.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he falls from the sky, and that's how episode 7 ends.
Yep, our first ever cliffhanger.
Yeah, and that was crazy to us, because it's like, oh, wow, this is going to be a two-parter.
Yeah, I was genuinely thinking that Hodoro was shit out of luck, and he was going to fall to the ground and splatter.
Yeah.
In a bloody, gory mess.
And then the post-credits was just like, oh, yeah, he actually doesn't die, which I thought was funny.
Post-credits?
Like the...
wait. Oh, yeah, you mean the next episode preview.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they always spoil everything. It's like, why even have a cliffhanger?
Yeah, dude.
If you're going to show us that.
I remember I got hit with that when I watched Dragon Ball Super. when I was watching the Goku Black Saga, and then like I was like, oh, how they're gonna beat him, and then it's the next episode, it's Vegito Blue.
Yep.
Whoa.
That's just how Toei operates things.
Yep. Oh man, it's all across the board.
Yep.
Because they did Dragon Ball, the animation, right? They would
Yeah, Toei Animation.
Scary. Well, they I mean, I applaud them for being able to get so much content out at once.
Yeah, it's crazy how they just pump that shit out, especially Kamen Rider.
Oh yeah,
50 episodes a year, pretty much.
Yeah, and with all the especially with the intricate costume design in Gotchard.
Yeah,
and it's I gotta say, like the writing, we learn something new every episode, and it's a slow burn style that I don't know, I didn't feel it with Geats whenever I watched that, and like same with Ryuki, like Ryuki at least went on pretty well, just like I don't know, its pacing was pretty steady.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Ryuki was like, the day-to-day of just the main characters went by slow, but then the stuff happening with the Rider War, shit could just happen at a moment's notice and just completely throw everything off. And so I think that setup was just made the pacing perfect, pretty much.
Yeah. And then it almost felt like a single arc the show went through,
Yeah. They don't make them like that no more.
Oh yeah. Especially in like the age of streaming services.
Yeah.
Like it's a wonder we actually heck, Kamen Rider is like the only like serialized show that I watch. You know what I mean? Like everything else, like being on streaming service, they've taken like this cinematic approach to television.
Yeah.
Like say Loki season 2 that's out. Like I doubt it's going to be more than 8 episodes. Or like Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Whenever
Kamen
season
Rider
5 comes out.
Gives you a whole 50 episodes.
Yeah.
And gives you another 50 episodes right after.
I miss it, man.
Never ends.
I miss when shows were like that.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why Kamen Rider is so good, is because it's just a testament to to I guess this classic style, or what is now a classic style of TV.
That's just the really cool thing about Tokusatsu being made to this day to me, is that it upholds like some very lost art forms in the modern TV landscape, and it's nice to have something sort of.
Because it's so practical too.
It's nice to have something sort of hold the torch like that.
Yeah. Episode 7 kind of came and went. Because the thing with these duo episodes, like the pacing in them is really good, because like the story, it's right there, right on the nose, and it's easy to get into it, really. Like you can show anyone these 2 episodes and they can get a great sense of what Gotchard is.
Yeah. It's been very episodic, but in kind of like, it's nice to have a strong like cast of characters that aren't necessarily writers, but they're just, fun characters in their own right. Like, what's her name? Rengo?
Renge?
Was it Renge?
I think so. Let me check here. Yep. Renge Icho.
Yeah, characters like Renge and Sabimaru that are just fun characters to see part of the ensemble. And yeah, again, you can just show anyone a given episode or these 2 episodes and they'll still get an enjoyable experience out of it without feeling out of the loop.
I almost forgot to mention, but we get a slight B plot with episode 7, in terms of Hodoro's mom asks Rine to go get stuff for the shop, and Renge runs up and says, "Oh, I want to join too." So it's those 2 basically going out and like getting these like different items, and they stop at a tea shop, and then Rine, she's like, "Can I get like?" They basically go to like this like little like, I think it's a little tea shop.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, can I get like a large?" And they're like, "Oh, we don't say large, we say like grande or something." So it's like they go to like a Starbucks, and then Renge is like, you're a teenager, you don't know this lingo, and it's like, man, how old are you? But yeah, it makes Rene sad a little bit. So she goes out on the patio area and sits, but there's someone waiting there for her, and that person is Lachesis. Actually, no, it's not. That's not Lachesis. It's a Tropos of the Abyssalis sisters. So the small one, and this kind of calls back to the Bolt episode with Hawkstar, where they kind of realize that Rene's the weakness of the group. I don't want to call her a weak link, but she's the if they were ever going to use someone to their advantage, it would be Rene. You know, because she can, like, at least with Gotchard and Spanner, you can get some interesting scenarios with like what was at least similar to what happened with Hawkstar, the Hawkstar amalgam. But
Yeah,
they're plotting something all right.
Because of Hotaro and Spanner's relationship and connection with Rene, you know, they basically proved how emotionally distraught they got when Rene was in danger with the Hawkstar amalgam. And so now the Abyssalis sisters recognize that and realize, oh, that's our strategy.
Yeah, and
just manipulate that to make them weak.
And I feel like even like since her dad was like one of the main people that they targeted, I feel like she's gonna fit some sort of puzzle piece in that sense.
Yeah.
And so like that kind of makes sense. I feel like them being like, oh, we know the weakness now. If it's not just that, I feel like it could be. I feel like the writers are scapegoating us into thinking it's like, oh yeah, since everybody cares about her so much, and she doesn't have a writer form, it's gonna be easier to like hold her hostage or something. But I feel like it's more than that, you know. Just knowing who her dad is. But yeah, we'll continue that while we talk about episode 8, because it just picks up right where we left off. And
where Hotaro is falling
from the sky, and he pulls out 2 brand new chemis.
Yep.
And basically, I can't find their names on the wiki here, but it's basically a whale and a bicycle.
Yeah, and it's like the fact that they're, again, brand new chemis we haven't seen yet that he pulls out. It's like, how many does he have just on hand?
Yeah, it's
like this guy is drowning in chemis.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. Because at least on here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4.
I don't know. Definitely feels like they're trying to show off as many as possible so they can sell those cards, you know.
Oh yeah, there's 22 chemis on the wiki so far. Yeah, on fandom.com as the citation. But yeah, he pulls out a couple new ones, and the cool thing is whenever he morphs with them, they become like this giant bubbly motorcycle.
Oh yeah.
And it's interesting too because he plops down on the ground on this giant bike, and it doesn't show it, but basically this bicycle turns into a whale motorcycle, and the blowhole is like the gas cap, to like from at least what I would imagine for this motorcycle here. So like he like as the dragonfly amalgams in the sky, he like hits him with water, and then as more come down, more like needles come down, he's able to like vacuum Riku into the bike tire and like keep him from harm. They keep fighting, and he's able to kind of apprehend the needle dude a little bit. They fight a little bit more after that. Main thing is that after he turns into Whale Bike, he gets Riku to safety, and so they escape Dragonfly Amalgam. Yep. And then we
quick aside,
yeah,
you know, since we saw the whale motorcycle, or not motorcycle, but
yeah,
the whale bicycle, how it was like a 2D animated JPEG, I guess you could say. I really like the mixed media kind of approach that they've been doing with chemis, where some of them are real props, some of them are CG, and then some of them are 2D animated. And it's like, I don't know, the mixed media feel, I don't know. It's a very tokusatsu way of having like a Pokemon style monster roster.
I agree. Yeah, it's so cool to just to see like what they come up with every episode, you know. Which like this, like the whale bike, that was out of nowhere, but wow, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But when they go away, Hodoro and Riku sit at like a park, and they're talking a bit more, and Riku's kind of backtracking on what he said about Sabonito before. He was really trying to close himself off because he made a promise to his dad as to not like fall behind on his grades and such. And like we get a flashback to his dad kind of like scolding him for falling off on his grades, and we see the promise he made before he goes to the gang in episode 7, because his dad's like, "Oh, you got cuts on your hands, and then the teacher said you're being late and your grades are dropping. I bet it's because of this." And he pulls out Sabo Needle, and he's like, "I want you
to blame something."
Yeah, and he's like, I want you to throw this away," and like being real mean to him.
Yeah, throw away this living creature.
Yeah,
just throw it in the dumpster or something.
And that's when that's when he comes across the group in episode 7. But he talks about that and he goes, "No, I want to be friends with Sabo Needle." And Hodoro's like, "Oh heck yeah, man!" And then like they're like, "Well, he escaped during the fight, but we got to find him now." So, Small Phone comes in handy yet again. He's like, "Find Sabo Needle for us," and Small Phone does, just by being able to track a little thorn from him. And they find him, and before that, it cuts to Atropos and Rine's conversation.
Yep. And
we get a tiny bit from that, but we see a little bit of Atropos' power herself, because she's like, "Oh, I want you to play my game," to Rine. She's like, I'm not doing crap right now," and so she goes, "Wah wah wah, don't be like that to a child." And then like she like messes with her hands a little bit, and then everybody in the patio area stands up, red-eyed, looking at Rine.
Man, mind control.
Yeah, just instantly. And Rena's like, whoa, if we're gonna do that, let's not get civilians involved, right?
Yeah.
And then Atropos is like, haha, I'll remember that for next time. And then she leaves.
And you skip the part where Atropos reveals that, or at least implies, she's like, "How would you react if I told you that your father is alive?"
Oh, yeah. She said that just in a single line.
And immediately I was like, "Oh, I believe you." Immediately. I already believe you. I already called that shit last episode, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's like, I feel like the show is, it knows that it knows it's stringing us along with things that we already know of, but I feel like it's gonna, I feel like he's gonna be alive, but there's gonna be some kind of drawback, right? Because, they're definitely holding him hostage. Yeah. Or some sort of captive.
Oh, you think the Alchemist Academy is holding him hostage?
Oh no, I mean the sisters. At least they have. I think they got like some sort of thing over him. But the Alchemist Academy, I feel like if he even comes back, I feel like the Alchemist Academy would discipline him in some way.
Yeah. Like
they totally take his memories away.
Like,
so like they're going to be another problem. They will be another problem.
Absolutely certain that Hotaro will eventually come into conflict with the Alchemist Academy, because he's basically proclaimed that he wants to create a world where humans and chemis can coexist, even though that's forbidden by the rules of the Alchemist Academy.
Oh yeah, he makes a big vow at the end of this episode.
So, I heard that the original premise of Gotchard was that Hotaro would have been the original one to set all the chemis free instead of the Abyssal sisters, and then it just would have been his responsibility to get him back.
Oh man, so it would have just...
I feel like that's gonna, like, they're gonna come back to that and have Hotaro break the chemis out of the Alchemist Academy's control, since they're technically the ones that keep storage of them.
Yeah, because, they are living creatures, but the Alchemist Academy is just like, oh no, like, only we can deal with them,
Yeah, and it's like they call them tools, and it's like...
Yeah, like Spanner and Minato, they both are just like, yeah, they're just creatures. and like they make the strict rules on how they need to be like handled, because like Spanner, he doesn't give a shit either way, you know. So like it's like, what a ridiculous joke on everything. So it's like, it's not that he's like following the rules per se, it's that like his ideology lines up with the rules. And meanwhile, like Minato and Rine, they're both kind of like, yeah, we got to uphold these rules. But Minato, I feel like
squares.
Yeah, I feel like Minato. I feel like there's some. I feel like he's gonna be some sort of enemy at some point.
Yeah, because I've been getting that vibe.
Because like you saw the look in Hodoro's eyes at the end of this episode, like he makes a crazy vow, which I'll just say it right now. He looks at Sabo Needle dead in the eye, because after all that's happened, he's like, just you wait, I'm gonna find a way for chemis and humans to coexist. And because like, yeah, they go back and they find out that like Riku's dad is actually the Amalgam. And
dun dun dun.
Yeah, Riku's dad's the Amalgam, which I was like, oh, that's a pretty cool twist actually, because like with the Wrestler G episode, that was good, because it's like, oh, it's another wrestler that has like is like the antagonist, and I'm happy that like they have like, it's like these antagonists are personal to the other characters, you know what I mean? So that's why it's like when I was like, oh, it's his dad, I was like, oh, that's totally right, it's got to be his dad. But he's coming on so strong, like, oh, you got to be disciplined, child, and it's like, oh man, this is getting a little rough.
Crazy fathers out there.
Oh yeah, and so they're going along, doing their thing, they're doing their fight. This time though, tragedy doesn't strike. Annoyance strikes, because Lachesis comes in with a new Amalgam, the Happy Bloom, or I guess Flower Amalgam.
I believe it'd be the Clover Amalgam.
Yeah,
it's
Happy Clover. Like Happy Clover. Yeah, the Clover Amalgam. So
which, that was what I alluded to earlier about certain cards being in the possession of others, including, for example, the Abyssal Sisters.
Yeah.
And so,
because like she had Ant Trooper hostage at one time, and now she has this other one hostage, and then she's grooming his dad, Riku's dad, to be Amalgam.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, these guys, like, the Abyssal Sisters mean business. Yeah, so they fight a little bit, and Hodor starts to get double teamed. However, Spanner comes in and saves the day by helping him with the fight and attacking the Cheesis.
Yeah. And
there's some really good choreography with Alvarad, man. Oh my god. Such good sword such good sword play in this episode.
And also great, like, I thought the choreography with Gotchard's takedown of the Dragonfly Amalgam.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was very well executed.
Yeah, because he actually gets access to one of Spanner's cards, which is a what are they called?
It was Guts Shovel.
Yeah, Guts Shovel. Guts Shovel and Magic. It was a Majin something.
Yeah, I forget the name,
yeah,
but it was a magician.
It was a little wizard guy. And so he gets this whole new form. He's got like claws, and then he's got like a wizard hat.
Yeah, it's raw as fuck.
It's really cool. And he's able to take Dragonfly Amalgam out of the air using the like basically mesmerizing him out of the air, and then switching back to Needlehawk, and just flying into the air, and then doing an airborne rider kick. He turns into like an actual like Needlehawk, like a literal Needlehawk.
Yeah.
Dives into the ground and morphs out into a rider kick and just shockwaves this dude's entire like nervous system.
Yeah, the Amalgam was standing up on the ground, and Gotchard rider kicked him directly on the top of his head, thus destroying his spinal cord, probably turning it into dust, and just killing him instantly.
And big explosion and all, and a great pose. Oh man, it's as token as you can get.
Yep.
And boom, comes back, and then the fight's over at this point. And Lachesis, like, whenever her and Alvarad were fighting, he's like, "What is your end goal?" And she's like, I don't have to tell you right now. I'll see you next time, Spanner." And he's like, "Dang, what a ridiculous joke." Oh my god, it's such a funny character, dude.
Yeah.
He's like Ren from Ryuki, but like even more edgy.
And significantly more weird.
Yes. What a ridiculous joke. It's like that's gonna enter my vocabulary, bro.
He's the ridiculous Joker.
Yeah. But yeah, it was cool seeing so many new forms this episode, and then at the end, they're they're talking. Everybody has a group, and Riku's dad is apologizing to him. He's like, I shouldn't have got between you and your friend. It's a heartwarming moment, and Minato comes in, and he's like, "Look what you did, Hodoro. Now you severed the bond between father and child, even though like."
Yeah, that was such a reach.
Yeah, I was
honestly.
like, yeah, and it kind of goes like, "What's wrong with you, man?"
Yeah.
It's like, dude, it's like he's literally like leveling with his son right now, like realizing that he was in the wrong, and then like Hodoro did all this,
and then Minato's coming in trying to gaslight this shit.
Yeah, and it's like, what the heck, like I don't know if it was just the writing or if it was actually like Minato's, like if he was just if that's just him, but like. Either way, like
I don't trust that guy.
I don't trust Minato, man. Like just from that, I was like, "What do you mean?" Like they're literally apologizing. He's apologizing, and then his son understands, and like his kid's like, "I know you're doing right by me. Sometimes I need a break, and you do too, you know." And it's like, oh, "Yeah, you're right." And then Sabo Needle actually grows a little flower on his head, and it's like, oh, whenever Sabo Needle uses an attack to like protect someone. A little flower goes on his head. So technically he evolved. His card does look different by the end of the episode, which it just has a little bit more like rough details on it, and like I know he like it's like darker on the bottom, and then he just looks like a bit more edgy. I guess is what we would say.
Yeah, I wonder if they're eventually gonna start introducing evolved forms for the chemis.
That would be raw.
Yeah, that would be a really cool idea, honestly.
Oh yeah, think of like Hopper 2.
And then Hopper 3. No, but I think Bandai would rather sell 5 other drivers and just make money that way instead.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I've heard rumblings that they're going to introduce more drivers and make other characters Kamen Riders eventually. And it kind of feels like, I don't know, I would assume that the cards on their own would just be the big money maker. Like, you don't even need that many other riders. But maybe they think they have to emulate, more recent seasons to try to, I guess, reach more popularity or something.
Yeah, because at least from
the machinations of Toei and Bandai's minds are an enigma sometimes.
Yeah, because like at least from a money making standpoint, like I don't know if these cards are straight up just how they appear in the show, or if you could if they have like a game attributed to them, like with Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh no, there's no.
It's just collection.
It looks exactly like it does on the show.
Okay, so it's basically just random collection. So yeah, it's like I feel like since there's only 101, like it's basically going back to the basics of like Pokemon in like the first gen.
Well, there's 101, but in the card packs they also have.
Oh yeah, the
past
extra,
rider.
Yeah, the rider ones.
Because it's the first. So the Phase Zero box set that came out a month before the show aired had 55 cards, and then Phase 1, the current set, has 88. They've been releasing plenty of cards, and they have, existing cards have extra rare, parallel rare, like super hard to find cards. So I would assume that people would just be buying up boxes, but I do wonder how the sales are stacking up.
Yeah.
And if they're selling as many as they hoped.
Yeah, because I could see them, like the Gotchard driver and the Alvarez sword. But I could see them selling those too. But like I would like to see other people be Kamen Riders. Like I'd like to see Rene at least be able to be a writer at some point.
Oh yeah, that'd be.
Yeah, because like I want to see her do a bit more. I feel like if she gets a driver, it'd be when she gets reunited with her dad. That would be probably the best moment in the show for them to do that.
I don't know. But on the other hand, I do feel like sometimes it gets to a point where when you have so many writers, they have to get like
A specific amount of screen time.
yeah, and
Yeah.
focus. And I just think back to Revice, where almost every remotely relevant character became a writer, and it just led to so much like chafe of just characters you didn't really care for getting all this focus and taking focus away from the much more interesting main character's narrative. And it really just felt like going through the motions and just like buying time to fill out the runtime. And that's part of why Revice was such a weak season by the end of it.
Yeah.
And I would hate to see Gotchard go
Oh,
down
me
that
too.
direction with how strong it's starting.
Yeah, because like with Geats, like everybody being a Kamen Rider, like that was the cast. Like that was
Well,
the cast.
Okay,
Of the
that
show.
works because they had like a very specific
Yeah.
format and concept where it was a game show where everyone competes as a Kamen Rider. So that makes sense
Yeah.
to have so many.
Yeah,
And of
'cause
course, anything like Ryuki or Gaim, where there's like a battle royale aspect, of course you're gonna have so many riders.
yeah.
But with
like, I think with like Ryuki, it balanced it pretty well. Because at least you see like at least I would say like the big four
Yeah.
would be just
Well-
like Shinji, Ren, Kitauka, and Asakura.
yeah, and yeah, because even with Ryuki, it just like they still keep the main cast,
It's all condensed.
Down.
It's mainly condensed.
and then all the other riders just kind of show up for a bit, and then they get killed off, and so they don't take up too much time.
yeah,
But with Revice, you know, when it's just a season that doesn't even have any competitive element and it's just a good versus evil type plot, having so many writers like in Revice, it just feels like you have a whole Kamen Rider militia that's just gonna curb stomp any enemy.
yeah.
And that, I don't know, to me that's just like it's fun to watch, but it just really takes any stakes out of the narrative, I think.
feel that. Yeah, because like with this, they already have like say like Renge and Sabimaru. I don't want to see them become Kamen Riders because they're already
they
just
don't need to
they're
be.
R&D. They don't fight anyway, you know. So like, and they have like the Kemi catcher things on their wrists.
Sabimaru just by himself probably wouldn't even want to become a Kamen Rider. I think he would have like a rider suit where Isaac becomes the host
That'd
and
be cool.
Isaac would be the Kamen Rider.
Yeah, like since like Valvarad isn't exactly a Kamen Rider, technically, I mean he's close to being one. But I would like to see like instead of Rene becoming a Kamen Rider, I want to see like them develop the alchemy powers a bit more. You know what I mean? Like maybe like she gets a new ring or
Oh,
something.
yeah.
Because like
That'd be something.
it's like that would be where we have a Kamen Rider as Gotchard, then we have Valvarad and his powers, and then we'd have Rene with her specific powers. So we'd have like 3 different move sets across the characters that they could use. And I really want to see more of this, like the alchemy powers be used.
Yeah.
Because I mean, right now it's all telekinesis basically.
Yeah, I wish they'd go full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah,
with
that'd
it
be cool to see.
and just rip off some of that.
Yeah.
That would go hard.
I want to see, because like with like most of the budget is definitely going towards the suit design
Yeah.
for Gotchard, but like imagine the things that they could do with just ring, and then like you have the powers of everything around you. You know what I mean? So I want to see more of just like the alchemy powers just on their own. I want to see just straight up alchemist fights at some point. You know.
Certainly.
Like it would be cool to see a Gotchard, like Gotchard in his current state or later, fight like an alchemist, you know, or like Geryon, the I guess the leader or the overlord that the Abyssal sisters face. I wonder if he'll be like a writer or if he'll have alchemy powers. or something. You know, because anytime I think of Jerryon, I'm like, oh, he could be like Emperor Palpatine or something, where he's got like he can use like elements or something. But this is all hearsay. I don't know. I'm just guessing right now, but it could be something like that.
Yeah, I wonder because I feel like if it's like good and evil are two sides of the same coin, I feel like alchemy being like a coin for both good and evil to serve, that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I mean, given the fact that the Abyssal sisters can just automatically merge with the chemi and become amalgam, like that is technically like a chemical reaction right there.
Yeah.
At least I would assume. I don't think they've ever like specified that it was, but it essentially is.
Yeah, I'm just really ready to see Jerryon in action.
Yeah, I want to see what they're cooking with him.
Oh yeah. But at the end of episode 8, Minato, after he scolds Hodoro, like, you know, I'm going to take a couple points off since you kind of went against the rules. I won't look away from Akemi being captured, so good job. As he turns away, boom, snap. No more memory for Riku and his dad. He does remember Hodoro, of course, and the can kicking game they played in the episode before, and even invites his dad to join in the rest of them. All that's left of his memory of Sabo Needle is the little flower that he grew on his head. And that's when we catch up to Hodoro telling Sabo Needle with wide eyes, very wide eyes. Like his eyes were wide open, looking him like straight into the soul of the card. Like, I'm gonna fight for a world where chemis and humans can live in harmony. And that's pretty much where episode 8 ends.
And it's honestly really tragic.
Yeah.
How this whole 2-part episode was built on the crux of this relationship between the kid and Sabo Needle, and to have the memories of that relationship just wiped instantly, and the kid doesn't even realize it. Like, there's something just very sad about that, and it really does already lead you to kind of be against the Alchemy Academy.
Yeah.
You know, when they inevitably become an antagonistic force in the narrative. So
I feel
this series is doing a great job of setup without being too explicit about it.
Yeah.
I like how it's like subtle, and I guess that's why everybody, like so many people on Twitter, think that nothing's happening. It's because they're not paying attention to the pretext that's setting up what's going to happen.
Because I think that, like, because the show knows that we know, you know? Because that one episode where Hodoro's like, wait, it's got to equal 10 to be able to, like, morph into another rider form, and it's like, yeah, we knew this, Hodoro.
Yeah, Hodoro's just a bit slow.
Yeah, and, like, the characters even call him out on it. So it's like, the show catches us up. Like, we can get enough just from context. And, like from general just how an interesting plot would go, you know, to kind of piece together what's going on. But it also leaves so much room for improvement, because we know that, like, Hodoro's pretty set in his ways just from these last 8 episodes. He's set in his ways. He wants, like, chemis and humans to be friends. But then you have other characters like Spanner, and I don't know where the hell his character's arc's going to end up, because, like I said before, like, the way I see it, his ideals just line up with the alchemist, you know. So who knows if he'll become an ally or an even bigger rival as the show goes on, you know.
I feel like he will become an ally. That's where I'm leaning right now. But I do also feel like it'd be very interesting if he does become more of an enemy, because it feels weird that he would have him be mostly an ally so far, but not have him be a full-on Kamen Rider.
Yeah.
Instead, he's, you know, something in the vein of Bloodstock and Night Rogue from Build, and they were explicitly villains. And that is pretty much why you assumed why they weren't Kamen Riders, at least for that beginning portion.
Yeah, and since like he wants the Gotchard driver so bad, it's like, what could he really do with it? Because I wonder if we'll see something like that if he gets a driver. I wonder what he's even going to really be able to do with it that he can't really do already, you know? Because all he can do right now is with the sword is just, like, take the powers of one Kimmy. So I wonder if, like, I don't even know if he'll get a belt. I wonder if he'll just get, like, another weapon. He'll be, like, the Dante of this series. Or, I guess, in this case, he'd be the Virgil, if we're talking Devil May Cry terms. He'd have so many different weapons, you know, that he could use, which that'd be cool to see.
Maybe, I don't know, my theory right now is that Hotaro was the first person in 100 or so years to do a human chemi alchemic reaction. So maybe, I don't know, maybe Spanner wants to prove that he can do it as well, to prove his alchemy cred, you know, since Hotaro's just a newbie. He wasn't even an alchemist when he first transformed into Gotchard and did that rare thing. Yeah, that's pretty much my theory.
Yeah, because I really don't know where Spanner's arc's going to end up, because right now it's pretty one note. It's like, what a ridiculous joke. When anything involving anything, he's going to say that. But it's like, he's got these, like, real specific quirks to him that, like, I feel like he's a set in his ways as Hotaro is. So, I'm interested to see where Spanner's going to end up. I don't want to say Spanner's my favorite character, but he definitely keeps me on the edge of my seat anytime he's on screen. Because I just don't know what he's going to do next. Because, like, ultimately, they're all on the same side here. They don't want... The Abyssal sisters are not good, right. And, like, they need to go. But, like, I feel like if they're out of the picture, and Hotaro's going to start, like, really trying to achieve his dream, I feel like some stuff is going to happen between the main cast, at least between those two. Because I don't think Valverat will be, like, the big bad, but it'll kind of be like how I wouldn't say as extreme as, at least if we're talking in Geats terms, I don't think it'd be as extreme as like what Kawa became, right, where he kind of went evil for a little bit. I feel like it'd be more on the edge of like Buffa getting his invincible powers a little bit before that. But it'd be on the ends of like, oh no, I have to prove. I feel like it's gonna be. I don't think, because like I want to say that he's gonna try to prove something, but like, what would Spanner have to prove right now? We don't know much. We don't know that much about him. You know, all we know is that he wants that belt. He wants the belt, and he doesn't think that Hotaro is like he's capable enough. Even in this episode, he's like, quit napping and start fighting. Whenever he was got hit with the Clover Amalgam's vine attack wrapped around his legs.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it is a jealousy thing with
Could
him.
be.
Who knows? Which would be ironic given how jealous Hotaro is of Spanner being superior to him in both cooking and combat.
Yeah.
So it'd be ironic if they were both jealous of each other, thinking that they both are hot shit.
Yeah, because I could see him being jealous of Hotaro because he hangs out with Rine so much.
Oh,
but
yeah,
like,
maybe that too.
But even he was just like, yeah, we're actually, because, well, whenever like they fought the Hawk Amalgam.
Yeah, he was like, Rine's not my lover.
Yeah.
But like, we still don't know
what, I mean,
what
technically
his deal
they aren't.
with her is.
But yeah, it's like, I don't know, maybe he wants something to do with her dad.
Yeah, that's where I'm placing my money.
Because my thing is, like, if they find Rine's dad, what is Spanner gonna do? You know what I mean? That's my thing. Is I do not know what he would do. Because it's the guy who gave Hotaro the belt, and then the same guy whose daughter's Rine, and then what was it, episode 3, where he's like, oh yeah, it's all coming together. I feel like he knows something we don't.
Yeah, he's gonna kill Fuga immediately. Just cave his head in with his giant wrench.
Wrench, buster, gun, sword.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, it does it all.
So why would you even want a belt when you have that?
Yeah.
Because
hey, the belt is tradition. Yeah. All right.
He's like, I gotta be a rider now. Yeah. He's got his own transformation sequence too. But yeah, it's like, it really makes you wonder then, like, why would he want that belt? Is it just so he can control more Kimmies? Because it's just like, what is the reason?
Yeah, I think it's specifically like being able to alchemize two chemis, like just proving that or something. That's my guess anyway.
Yeah.
It's all still like such a mystery right now.
It's getting good. Things are happening in Gotchard. Don't let Twitter tell you otherwise.
Oh yeah, it's still been entertaining, just a fun watch.
Yeah, these last 2 episodes were great.
And so I think that does it for this episode.
Yeah, for the Spanner cast.
Yep. But anyway, this has been the GotchardCast with Otaku Sentai Podranger, and we are signing off.
Mention.